Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be trying out some of the new makeup I got in my recent Sephora and Ulta haul. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. Alright, so let's get into trying some really exciting new makeup. I am so excited for this one. If you saw my most recent haul, you probably know that I did get a good mix of both high-end and drugstore makeup, but I realized today's try-on is pretty much entirely high-end. But I found I really wanted to do a separate video on the Maybelline Skin Tint, and I wanted to do some other content with some of those products. So I decided to play with more of my Sephora haul in this video. So I've been dying to get into the Born This Way Sunset Stripped palette. This is one, I believe it came out last summer, and I really wanted to try it then because even though Too Faced doesn't always impress me, I know their palettes in this format tend to get really good reviews. So I did want to try this one. I also remember hearing Allie Glines rave about this one, so I'm pretty excited. And this is what this one looks like. So it's just very, very pretty, very neutral, but very, very me. So I am going to start really simple and take the shade High Tide, and I'm going to kind of just put this one all over the lid and in the crease. I just thought the shimmers in this palette looked absolutely stunning, and it's got like a nice mix of pinks in here too, which we know I love. And there's something about Too Faced palettes in this format that I always hear pretty good reviews. The palettes in their tin packaging, not so much. In this format, always pretty good. Although I have heard the new Cosmic Crush palette, the reviews seem fine, but there is, I guess, a dud in that palette. I've heard a few people say that, so I definitely wanted to stay away from that palette in particular because these palettes are still expensive, so I'm expecting to get the best out of all of these shades. Okay, I'm gonna just keep building the crease in the outer corner, and I'm gonna go into Nude Beach. The mattes seem to be blending very, very well with each other. This is such a pretty palette for summer. I really want to go into Sun Chaser as well, just to deepen it up a little bit more. I'm just trying to try out as many shades as I can. I also just really am having fun playing with a new palette. I know eyeshadow palettes aren't the trendiest thing at the moment, but I still love them. I think I'm going to take the shade Suns Out on a finger. That's a really pretty shade. I mean, we know I love a good neutral, but this is really pretty. It's very, very smooth. There's no fallout either, which is major points. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Then I'm just going to take a little bit of the shade Shell Yeah, and I'm going to take this one on the inner corner and then just bring it up just a little bit, just to give a little bit of brightness to that area, but not to take away from that bronze because that bronze is beautiful. That is a beautiful shade. I am really happy with this very boring neutral look. Let's go into the mascara. I was going to do a bit of a liner, but I really don't want to. Let's go into the One Coat Wow mascara from Huda Beauty. So this is supposed to be, after just one coat, 98% saw instant curl and lifted lashes. So this is supposed to be, again, one coat. Alright, so this is what the tube looks like. And the brush is really interesting. Okay, so it just looks like this. This looks like a rubber bristle wand, and it is quite an interesting shape. So the side that is more like an hourglass is supposed to be a reservoir to hold and apply maximum formula in one coat. And the other side that is more kind of diamond shape is supposed to have longer bristles to comb through to build volume and define. So I'm not going to curl my lashes, mostly because I don't want to, but also because I really want to see if this curls. And this side of my lashes is the less pretty side of the two. It's a little bit more sparse. And I'm not even using my beloved lash primer today. Okay, so you definitely get a lot of product out. And I'm definitely seeing a ton of volume. I'm worried that these are going to get a bit clumpy though. Okay, so right away, I'm definitely seeing a lot of volume, which is great, but this seems really clumpy. I also think it could be my fault and I might not be using the brush quite right. We definitely have volume. We definitely have a lot more lash than we did, and it definitely seems to have curled. I just think that my lashes are a little too goopy now. However, let's try it on my better side and see what we think. It's not too wet of a formula either, which I like. I would say the wettest formula I've ever tried is probably the new LYS, but this one isn't nearly as wet. So I do prefer a bit of a drier formula. So that's great to see here. I love a good, bold, natural lash. I don't really like messing around with false eyelashes. I mean, the volume is definitely there. There's no shortage of volume, but for my preference, it's just a little bit too clumpy. I am going to keep trying it out though, because I mean, this is my first time trying this product, so there's always room for error the first time you use a new product. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of grace and just keep trying it out to see if I like it. But this is one I think I might be on the fence on. I think it might be too clumpy, but we'll keep trying it out and we will see. Okay, a product I am very excited to get into is the Too Faced Born This Way Healthy Glow Moisturizing Skin Tint with SPF 30. This also contains watermelon and apple and hyaluronic acid. So very interested in this. I did pick up the shade Porcelain. So this product has been out for a few months and I wanted to get this one as soon as it came out, but given that it is a complexion product and it has SPF, it probably will not be in Canada until next year. But we're gonna test it out today. I think you do need to shake this first because when I was trying to sample in store, they were quite liquidy. So this is supposed to be 24-hour wear, have UVA, UVB protection, and have all-day hydration, non-acnogenic, and it does say to shake well before use. So this sounds really good. This product, again, like I mentioned, I really wanted to get this when it first came out, but being in Canada, I had to wait until it either comes next year or until I made a little trip. So I made the trip. Also, Brianna Fox has been raving about this one because sometimes when new foundations or skin tints come out and if I can't get them right away, I tend to lose interest. But occasionally somebody will absolutely be raving about a product and I will need to get it. So Brianna Fox influenced me on this one. I've heard her talk about this one so many times, so of course I had to try it out for myself. So I do love the bottle and it just has a little squeeze tube. So I'm going to take a little bit on my palette. And it is super liquidy. It was really hard. I didn't feel like their shade range in this was very good, but it was kind of challenging to pick a shade, if I'm being honest. There was a few that could work for me, but it was just very challenging overall. Now that I'm looking at this shade, it looks like it's going to be too deep. The lightest shade was way too light. The next one up, I think, was golden. So this one sounds the best. Let's hope for the best. Okay. It's too deep, but we're gonna make it work. I'm hoping because it's a skin tint, I'll be able to kind of get away with that. It does feel nice on the skin. It feels kind of like I'm blending in skincare, which is quite nice. This one surprised me much like the Danessa Myricks in that it's very, very blendable. Has quite a bit more coverage than I've come to expect from a skin tint. I really do love how this is feeling blending onto the skin. It, like I said, it feels like skincare. It just feels like a moisturizer. Okay, I don't think I have any foundations that feel quite this nice blending into the skin, and touching it, it feels like a very soft matte, which I love. It's not tacky. Okay, so aside from being the wrong shade, this seems to be a really nice product. I will, of course, update you guys on this one at the end of the month, how it wears and what I think. I'm not going to do a full wear test just because it's been out for a while at this point. I will say I'm impressed with the coverage level. I love how this feels blending onto the skin, and I really, really like that it dries down to kind of like a soft matte. It also looks really nice on the skin. Looks very, very skin-like while also giving me a nice amount of coverage. So I'm very pleased. I am a little bit annoyed that the shade doesn't work, but that's okay because the product itself seems really, really good. So I do have a brand new product here though. This is the NARS Light Reflecting Eye Brightener. So this is an advanced makeup skincare hybrid formula that illuminates the under eye area by targeting dark circles and dullness for brightness that lasts up to 24 hours. So this says you can wear alone for an instant natural looking illumination. You can lightly layer on top of your concealer of choice for maximum brightening effect or apply as a midday touch up. This can also be used under concealer of choice to soften dullness. I think I'm going to use this under my concealer. That is my preference with any under eye brightener. I have the shade Night Swan, which is the lightest one, and I'm a big fan so far, for the most part, of the NARS Light Reflecting line. It's a lot like the soft matte concealer in packaging at first, but it's in white, except this jar is a glass jar with the white lid. The soft matte concealer is just plastic, so the packaging seems to have gotten a bit of a facelift. It doesn't say whether you should apply with a brush or with a sponge. I'm thinking maybe a brush would be best. So I'm just going to take my BK Beauty A506 just lightly into the product. Okay. Okay, so this is with, this is without. I feel like it definitely brighten the under eye area. I'm also not sure if I would actually need concealer on top of this because it really just sort of brought everything together really nicely. Okay, this is nice. Okay, I really, really like how that eye brightener looks under the eyes. That's really nice. Let me know if you'd be interested in a full review of this one, because we could do one eye with it under the concealer, one eye with it on top, see which one wears better, something like that. We could definitely do like a full day test on this. I would be interested in that, but otherwise I'll let you guys know at the end of the month. But let me know what you're interested in. Okay, I am going to take my Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer and just go lightly over top. I'm not going to use too much. I don't really need it thanks to the eye brightener, but I do want a little extra coverage. Okay, I don't have a new powder, so I'm just going to use my Dior Powder No Powder for my Project Pan. I really am liking the way the skin's looking so far today. And I don't really need powder for other parts of my face because the skin tint did dry down really, really nicely. But I am just going to set the areas where I had to spot conceal. Okay, I also don't have anything new for brows, so I'm going to do those off camera really quickly and then I'll be back to finish the rest of my face. I just realized I should have probably filmed the whole latte makeup trend today, but let's get into complexion. So I am very, very excited because I am going to be trying out the Fenty Beauty Sunstalker Instant Warmth Bronzer. I do have the shade Into Sun, and this is one I've never tried, but I've wanted to. So I'm sure everybody's seen this, but this is what it looks like. And it feels really, really nice. And the shade looks perfect, if I'm being honest, not at all too glowy. Okay, I'm just gonna take my BK Beauty 103 brush. I don't want to add too much darkness because the skin tint is already doing that, but this looks really nice. I like the shade. It's definitely light, but I mean, it is definitely my perfect shade. Oh, that blends out really, really nice. Why have I not tried this before? I am noticing a little bit of creasing on my under eyes, so that might be something I want to pay attention to when it comes to the eye brightener. Why have I not tried this bronzer? This is nice. Okay. For blush, I'm going to go into the Glowish by Huda Beauty Cheeky Vegan Blush, and this one is in the shade Healthy Peach. I do have Karen Coral and Berry Juicy, but I love a good peach blush. That's really, really pretty. I have been losing my mind for peach blushes lately. It's probably just because it's summer, but I've really been loving all of the peach blushes. I love that shade. Okay, for highlight, I have the Fenty Kilowatt Freestyle Highlighter Duo. This is another product that's been out for ages, but I've never tried. So this is what this one looks like. So it looks like on one side you get a really smooth highlight, and then over here you get more of a glittery highlight. So we have Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. let's try it out. So this one, I wasn't sure if I needed it first until I swatched it. And it is so incredibly smooth to the touch. And that shade is a beautiful highlight. Now this shade is nice, like it's not glittery at all, and it's just so smooth and it seems to be melting in to the skin. For the sake of trying out all the products though, I am going to go into Crystal Fire as well, just to see. I'm just gonna add a little bit. Okay, well that made it blinding in a hurry. Okay, so with this one, the shade for me is perfect. If you want like a really just natural glow from within, this one is gorgeous. This is Lightning Dust, absolutely stunning. If you want to be seen from space, Fire Crystal is very, very shiny, but beautiful. All right, I just did my lips off camera. I was filming for YouTube Shorts and TikTok, but I just popped on Dragon Girl from NARS. This is a little sample. This is the perfect red. I don't do a lot of reds. Typically around the holidays, I do reds. This, I wasn't even going to go with a red lip today, but this is beautiful. This is that perfect blue undertone kind of red that makes your teeth look super white. There's something about this. It's a soft matte where it's very, very comfortable. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel super dry, but it is transfer proof. Like I did the kiss test. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And this is the bullet lipstick. I am so impressed. This might be my go-to red of the holidays this year. But that is it for the final look. Let's take a quick look through at the products that we used, and I'll share my thoughts on my new haul so far. So the Too Faced Born This Way Sunset Stripped palette, I really like this. The quality in here really, really is great. This is entirely different from their pumpkin spice palettes. They're better than chocolate palette. So much better in quality. Amazing. So I can't wait to keep playing with this and using this. This is a color story that I'm going to get a ton of use out of. So I might just leave this out and be using it a lot going forward. I really, really like it. The Huda One Coat Wow Mascara, since I've been wearing it for a while and it's dried down a little bit, I can say that it is holding a curl quite nicely, but it is still a little bit clumpier than I would typically go for. So I'm still on the fence about this one. I will keep testing it and let you know. Of course, at the end of the month, as always, the NARS Under Eye Brightener. I feel like I need to try this a few different ways before I can give a definitive opinion. Definitely brightened my under eye area significantly, but I'm still noticing creasing on my under eyes, and I don't typically get a lot of creasing with the Natasha Denona concealer, and given that I have powdered it down, it really shouldn't be creasing at all. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that and test this a few different ways. I want to try it on top of concealer. I want to try it alone. I just kind of want to try a few different things. Again, let me know if you'd like to see a dedicated video. I can definitely do that. The Too Faced Born This Way Healthy Glow Moisturizing Skin Tint with SPF 30. So aside from the shade, it really annoys me that the shade was off, but I have historically had a lot of issues with Too Faced complexion products and getting a match on those. I should have known better, but I definitely should have gone a shade or two, a shade down. There's only 2 shades lighter than this one. The lightest was way too light, and the second one up I thought was still maybe a little bit light, but I went with this one. That was wrong. However, I do think we made it work. This is really, really nice. This blended out beautifully on the skin. I love the feel of it as I was blending it into my skin, because it very much felt like I was blending a really beautiful silky moisturizer into my skin. So I really enjoyed that. And then the way it dried down to kind of like a soft matte, I was really impressed, because I cannot stand when foundations and skin tints have this tackiness to them. A lot of them do, so I'm used to it. But when they do that, I have to powder because I cannot stand the tackiness, whereas with this, I really didn't feel like I had to powder at all. So I really like that. I was also pleasantly surprised with the amount of coverage I got from this, so I like that as well. Again, I wish my shade was better, but maybe in the future I can either pick up another shade to mix with, or maybe I'll find another skin tint that I can mix with it, but I really, really do like this. So far, It depends on how it wears throughout the rest of the day. I will be updating you at the end of the month, of course. The complexion products, the Fenty Beauty Sunstalker Bronzer. I can't believe I have not tried this. This is so nice to blend out. This reminds me a lot of my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and the way that it just blends out so beautifully. It just seems so silky in the way it blends out. It just looks so good on the skin, and it's not too deep. It's definitely not pulling yellow. It's just a really beautiful neutral undertone, which is perfect for my skin, so I cannot wait to keep using this. The Glowish Cheeky Vegan Blushes. I already know I love this formula. I think it's great. It's really hard to go overboard and end up with clown cheeks with this formula, so I've really been enjoying it. But the shade Healthy Peach, this is actually really, really nice. I've been huge, like I mentioned, on peach blushes, and this is no exception. I love it. The Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Freestyle Highlighter Duo, really, really nice as well. I really love this very, very smooth shade over here. I don't think I'll be getting as much use out of this glittery topper shade, but this one looked absolutely stunning. And this one actually feels almost like a cream when you touch it. It is just so incredibly smooth on the skin. It was so flattering. I really, really thought it was beautiful. And Dragon Girl from NARS. So this wasn't a part of my massive Ulta Sephora haul. This was part of one of the new Sephora Favorites lip kits that they recently came out with. I did order that. I'm gonna have a whole try on coming up on YouTube Shorts and TikTok. If you follow me over there, I will have a whole little try on video trying on all the shades, but this is fabulous. This has to be my favorite brand of all time. But that is it for me today. Let me know down below if there's anything else you'd like to see. If there's anything you'd like a more thorough review of, I can definitely do that. Let me know if any of these products are already your favorites. I love hearing from you guys so much. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!